Hello and welcome to Theta Sigma's Doctor Who podcast number 45. In this week's show we're looking at one of the show's new era aliens that have frequently topped the show's most scary alien polls.
The angels are coming for you, but listen, your life could depend on this. Don't blink. Don't even blink. Blink and you're dead. They are fast, faster than you could believe. Don't turn your back. Don't look away and don't blink. Good luck.
Come here, you scrumptious little beauty.
A box?
Doctor, what is it?
I've got mail.
Despite numerous invitations on the Facebook page, Charlotte Brown was the only person to feed back this week. She said of the Angels, "I really liked them when they first started, but towards the end of Matt Smith's era they lost their scariness a bit. Like the big Statue of Liberty Angel, that would have been seen, so it wouldn't have made it all the way, it would have been stone. That sort of thing kind of made them lose their realism." Thanks for sharing, Charlotte, and I have to admit I felt much the same way. The Angels started off really well, kind of scary, a little bit spooky, but gradually towards the end there were enough plot holes regarding their realism to drive a bus through.
Didn't anyone ever tell you there's one thing you never put in a trap if you're smart, if you value your continued existence, if you have any plans about seeing tomorrow, there's one thing you never ever put in a trap.
And what would that be, sir?
Me.
Now I'll openly admit that Blink was not and never will be one of my favourite New Who episodes. To start with at least, I just didn't get the Weeping Angels. I guess it didn't help that this was a Doctor Light episode and fandom was fairly new to them at the time as well. But statues that moved when you didn't look at them. Just what was the idea and where did they come from? Well, the Weeping Angels are an ancient race of aliens. Stephen Moffat attributes their appeal to childhood games such as Grandmother's Footsteps and the notion that every statue is secretly a Weeping Angel. And that's the fear appeal of them. One of the few things that Moffat has got right so far in his tenure as showrunner is to make the everyday things in our lives scary. How many of us now take a second look at nearly every statue we've walked past? The Angels' usual mode of feeding is to send their victims back in time, which creates the time energy on which they feed. When they're not being watched by another being, they can move incredibly quickly and silently, but when they are being watched, they become quantum locked, occupying a single position in space and becoming stone. In this state, they're frozen and difficult to destroy. One of their weaknesses is that they cannot suppress this reaction. If two Weeping Angels were to look at each other at the same time, they would be trapped in stone form until an outside force moves them apart. So to prevent this, they often cover their eyes while moving, which makes them look as though they're weeping. According to the Doctor, the Weeping Angels are as old as the universe, but no one really knows where they come from. He describes them as the loneliest beings in the universe, since their quantum lock reaction makes it difficult for them to socialise. He also describes them as the deadliest, most powerful, most malevolent life form evolution has ever produced. That said, in all their TV appearances, the Angels could communicate with each other and work in groups. They're also physically strong, capable of snapping necks, though physically killing a victim is rare for them unless the need arises. In The Angels Take Manhattan, another form of weeping angel is known, the cherubim. Unlike weeping angels, they're not silent, making childlike giggling noises and having audible footsteps. It's not explicitly stated that these are young angels, but they are referred to as the babies. Weeping angels possess several notable abilities. In Time of Angels, it's suggested that when an angel needs bodies for communication, they snap their victim's neck and rearrange the brains for their purposes. The angels speak in their victim's voice, such as Angel Bob, the fallen soldier of the church, who becomes the voice of the angels and explains the angels' motives and thoughts to the Doctor. As they close in on their victims, their features transform from calm angels with normal proportions to more horrific demon-looking creatures with clawed hands and wide-open mouths bearing vampiric teeth. Their paramount ability is their speed, as they're able to close distances of meters in literally the blink of an eye, allowing them to reach a victim or to move to an unseen or darkened area before their quantum lock freezes them again. With a touch, a weeping angel can send a person into the past to before his or her own birth. The angels feed off the potential energy of the years their victims would have lived in the present. The Doctor describes them as the only psychopaths in the universe to kill you nicely, because their victims are otherwise uninjured and may live out their lifespans in the past. They can drain other forms of energy, such as electric lights as seen in Blink, or other electronics. Without power, the angels start to decay, turning to stone without being watched, and corroding as a statue does. Their speed is also extremely hindered if angels reach starvation, as seen in the Time of Angels, lessened from meters to a partial step in a blink. This can be undone by providing the angels with energy, but it's implied that they can no longer acquire energy themselves in this state. Also in Blink, the angels attempted to steal the Doctor's TARDIS after trapping him in the past. The engine of the vehicle contained enough time energy to feed them forever, but the damage could switch off the sun. They also exhibited the power to project themselves through images. In the Time of Angels, an angel trapped in the vault of the Byzantium is able to control a video screen that was playing video footage of it. It overrode the screen controls and could control nearby electronic equipment as well. The angel is then able to take over the screen and come through it in an attempt to kill Amy, because that which holds the image of an angel becomes itself an angel. From a warning in an ancient book on the angels found by River Song. Also in the novel Touched by an Angel, a starving angel no longer has physical being, and instead exists in the image viewed by the cameras. As such, whatever is within the sight of the camera is within the range of the angel. The angel retains fast movement, but at the cost of distance. Normally, as in the Time of Angels, the image would walk right out of the screen, but when it's starving it cannot do so. To stop movement, simply viewing the screen is enough to lock the angel. Weeping angels can plant an image of themselves into a person's mind by looking straight into their eyes. Amy Pond was affected like this, where an involuntary verbal countdown indicated her remaining open-eyed moments as a human. She was able to suspend the angel's gestation, though not eliminate it, by closing her eyes, refusing to let it breach the filter of her own optic nerve. So we've heard a little bit about the Weeping Angels, but what's their history with the Doctor? Well, the Weeping Angels have appeared periodically in Doctor Who since Series 3 of the revived show. In Blink, a quartet of Weeping Angels send the Doctor and Martha back to the year 1969 and seek to feed off the vast time energy reserves of the TARDIS he left behind in the present. But though they've found the key to the TARDIS, they can't find the machine itself. Sally Sparrow takes the key from one of them while it's in stone form, leading them to stalk her to recover it. During their pursuit, Sally inadvertently leads them to the TARDIS. Eventually, the four angels, having surrounded the TARDIS, are tricked into looking at each other when the box disappears, leaving them quantum-locked in their stone forms. In the end of time, the President of the Time Lords refers to the two dissenters on the return of Gallifrey as being forced to stand like the Weeping Angels, and the two Time Lords are posed with their hands over their eyes. In the Time of Angels in the distant future, a large group of Weeping Angels have been trapped in a catacomb for centuries, slowly losing their form due to starvation. When a rogue angel causes a starship to crash into the catacomb, the angels feed off its leaking radiation and revive. The angels are seen moving on screen for the first time when they realise that Amy Pond cannot see them. They're defeated eventually when they fall into a crack in time and are erased from existence. In The Angels Take Manhattan, numerous weeping angels, including the Statue of Liberty, have taken control of a building in New York holding victims captive so they can repeatedly feed off their time energy. Rory Williams and Amy Pond create a paradox by having Rory kill himself before he can be fed off to death. This paradox kills all but one of the angels and erases the events from history. However, the surviving angel encounters the Doctor and his companions in 2012 and sends Amy and Rory back in time, separating them from the Doctor forever. In the time of the Doctor, the weeping angels are discovered on Trenzalore by Clara, buried in the snow. After Clara touches the hand of a weeping angel, believing it to be a statue, the weeping angels start digging their way out of the snow and surround her and the Doctor, the snowstorm making it difficult for either Clara or the Doctor to keep eye contact. They eventually escape by summoning the TARDIS with the TARDIS key which the Doctor has concealed in his wig. Later in the episode, another weeping angel is seen in the town of Christmas as one of the many species, including Sontarans and Cybermen, which have managed to bypass the force field around Trenzalore in an attempt to silence the Doctor. The angel is seen staring into a mirror that the Doctor has placed there, thus remaining quantum locked while it looks at its own reflection.
Oh, goodbye, my dear chap. I must say I've had the time of my lives.
And that's all we have time for this week. As always, thanks for listening, and if you have any feedback for the show, I'd love to hear from you, either on Theta Sigma's Doctor Who podcast on Facebook or at respectthething@outlook.com. Audio feedback would be welcome too if you'd like to, but please do try and keep that under 2 minutes. If you have any thoughts or memories about the silence, do drop me a line, as we'll be looking at any feedback you have would be gratefully received. Just before I head off into the vortex once again, I want to give a special shout out to the Mark Who 42 podcast. I've been enjoying some conversations with these guys over recent days, and for the first time this week tuned into the show. If you've not yet found them, do go and look them up on Facebook at Mark Who 42's Universe. And if you're on iTunes, you can look them up under Mark Who 42 to subscribe. So until next week, when we'll be looking at the silence. Thank you for listening to Theta Sigma's Doctor Who podcast. Doctor Who and its associated shows are all copyright and property of the BBC, and no infringement is intended.